Hey guys, it's Craig at Area 419. Excited to talk to you about the newest product in the Zero line of products, and that is our Zero M Series sizing die. Let's dive in. So realistically, the development of a die has been ongoing since the development of the Zero. We realized early in press testing that we were doing as much work testing dies as we were testing the press. So from some initial drawings to some initial CAD work, and now ultimately where we are with the M Series die, we think we have taken a handful of check boxes and been able to answer those calls in ways that nobody else on the market's doing. The things that we wanted the die to accomplish were we wanted headspace to be easy to set and very, very consistent. We wanted neck tension to be something that was no longer really a variable, and we wanted it to also result in perfectly round necks from the inside, which was important. A sticky web situation on extraction. So we wanted to solve that problem. The growth of small primer cases, those primers can get very sticky on a decapper. So one feature that we found in another die that we really like and we incorporated is a spring flicker on that decapping. We wanted it to be as compatible as possible with as many rifles and chambers as you will find in a competitive or in a match grade setting. The core of this system is our reamer cut sizing sleeves. Again, I emphasize reamer cut because that gives us a better surface finish. It gives us better control over size. It creates fewer variables in the manufacturing process. We'll go into in a little bit how we make that sleeve and how we make it differently. But what it does in this die system is it can slide deeper or be constricted and be more shallow by a few thousandths here and there inside the die body, allowing you to adjust your headspace or how much shoulder bump you are getting, all while retaining hard contact between the top of your shell holder and the bottom of your sizing die. That means that you are getting exact right pressure and closure on that die every time, and can still then control what the headspace is during that sizing process. We know that if you go grab nearly all the dies that are on the market right now and you start measuring how much they will bump a shoulder if you get real hard contact with that die, it can really be all over the place, and it's almost always too much. So we wanted you to be able to get that beneficial hard-on-hard contact on the die and still manage how much you are bumping that shoulder, because as a match shooter, I like 3. Some guys like 2 or 1. Some people might even like 4. Nobody wants 8 or 10 or 15. And you obviously need more than 0. So we wanted to be able to control that headspace bump with a micrometer by the thousandth or even less, and still get that beneficial hard shell holder on hard bottom of the die contact every time. We've also designed a pull-through mandrel. They're all going to come with a 2,000th neck tension mandrel. We'll also sell sets that give you marginally less or marginally more neck tension. We took great care in designing this mandrel to give you a really consistent neck size. We believe that the best way to size a neck is from the inside in your last operation. That inside is where the bullet goes. And sizing from the inside also eliminates a lot of variables that can come from neck wall thickness. And there's a lot of great premium brass on the market that's super consistent, but any man-made process has some version of tolerance. So if we are pulling from the inside and sizing from the inside, your neck tension on that projectile will be as consistent as it possibly can. We also built into the system a spring release that goes onto the back of the mandrel so that when you're decapping, you're throwing that primer off of your decap pin. We're not the only people on the market doing this, but we really like the feature, and we wanted to bake in all the features that we liked into the product. Something important, I said we'd come back to how we're making these die sleeves. We've designed with the help of our friends at Munitions, who know more about brass sizing than anybody in America. They're fabulous at it, and they understand what it takes and what the geometry looks like in that brass sizing process. We wanted to design and work with them on bringing to market a chamber that brings that brass down through the taper. And I'm talking like down in that web area where you get clicky bolt if you're not careful. We wanted to bring that as close to a factory spec as we possibly could. And we're also sizing as far down on the case as we can. So you're not getting that sizing that stops like a hundred thousandths before you get down to the extractor groove. That's where you get a lot of that sticky bolt. We're going all the way down. We're going all the way down to the point that you will get a minimal clearance on a true match grade chamber. The chambers that we cut, the chambers that are often being used at matches, are really, really close in size to reamer diameter. This comes from taking a little extra time, dialing something in, making sure your tool is square. Mass production die companies don't really have the option to go really on size with their sizing. The reason for this is if you are what we'll call a brick and mortar customer, and you're going into a Shields and you're buying a rifle off the shelf from a large consumer brand, odds are that chamber's a little bit larger than what you'd find in a match chamber, than that reamer. The reason that this happens is the tolerance that comes from production settings. They're not typically cutting as tight to the reamer as they could. And the benefit for this from those firearm companies is that chamber will then load more smoothly on more ammo as you pick up ammunition that might not be as nice off the shelf. Off the rack chambers and off the rack dies are built to account for kind of that slop and that swell. We don't want that, because what we've encountered over time is sticky bolt that comes from dies that don't bring that web down to size. We wanted to truly take all of the brass that goes through our M series die, as well as our coming S series die, which is set up for the 7/8 guys. We wanted to bring it down to the appropriate new spec size in diameter. So if you haven't noticed as we sit here, this die is very large. It's larger in diameter than most dies on the market right now. We made this guy larger because we wanted to be able to build in the functionality of the heads of the micrometer adjustable headspace. So if I need a little more headspace, there's a thousandth, there's the thousandth. If I want to bring it down a little more and bump that shoulder more, I can just dial this micrometer in and we're set down. If you have a rock chucker, those are all actually 1.25" capable as well. That black insert around where your dies go in, you can pop that out and it's just a thread on thread reducer insert. You can also use these in those presses. These are going to be available first to 0 customers. What this means is the shell holder that comes with them will be built for the 0. We will also do, shortly after this first round of 0 customer availability, we'll do a shell holder that has this larger rim that's good to click into a rock chucker, for example. If you are a 0 customer that need a hybrid die or a hybrid turret head, we're going to do a deal where if you buy a M series die, a 0 M series die, you'll also have an option to add a hybrid turret to it at a reduced cost. Again, we want you guys moving into these. We think they're really going to do nice things for you. You'll enjoy them a lot. And we want to make that as seamless as possible for you. We think this is the most complete die made. It does everything it needs to do. It's exceptionally simple to do. Checks all the boxes, whether you are the highest end of reloader or you're a person that's a novice that's for the first time trying to make really good ammo. The M series die is going to retail with a shell holder, with your decap pin as well as an extra decap pin, 1 mandrel, which will get you 2,000 neck tension, available initially in 6 Dasher, 6 GT, 6 Creedmoor, and 6.5 Creedmoor. More calibers coming soon. Those will retail for $500. You will also be able to buy the die without a shell holder. So if you buy multiples of them and don't want to have extra shell holders around because there's no reason, that'll be available for $450. And then the shell holders will independently be $60. So buy it all together, you get about $10 off that shell holder, or you can buy them independently and save some money along the way. We are starting with a limited number of calibers. Our intent is to kind of work through Alpha's basic brass offerings, and then we'll expand outside of that. We will also make available over time gunsmith ready or wildcat ready sleeves. So this would be pre-bored for, let's say, 6mm or 22 or whatever you're doing. So if you've got questions, put them in the comments below. We look forward to engaging with you guys on these. We know you're going to like these. We look forward to you having them. Until next time.